I'm so excited. Hey, Remnants out there, good evening. Happy Sunday. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy. I'm so excited because guess what, Remnants? We have our first guy on the show. Can we give Stefan a round of applause, please? Yes. Stefan is joining us, our first male. Don't get nervous, Stefan. We will take it easy on you today. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited to have you on today. So, y'all, did I do the introduction? Stefan, you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Because pretty much the remnants out there know Josiane and Tiffany. They're like OGs for the live conversation. So
Yeah,
you want to go
sure.
ahead and introduce yourself just a little bit before we start?
Yeah, sure. My name is Stefan. Let me see here. I am 28 years old. Um, I'm a former teacher, and now I am a full-time entrepreneur and businessman. So I love it. So it's a little bit about me. I love to eat good food. I love people, and I love making connections, and I love fashion. And I just love to love. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Yeah.
Yes, you do love fashion, and I love your fashion too, by the way. So let's get right in. One of the things I want to do is to kind of stick to time and everything. Okay, so I was thinking, right? One day I was thinking about just life in general, and one of the things that came to my mind was how oftentimes when I want to make moves, right? When I want to embark on something or an idea what comes um right behind it is my past. You know, there's something in my past or maybe a past decision that will come to my mind that kind of halts me, put me in a halt. And I was thinking, I was like, oh, I wonder if there are other remnants out there who are going through the same thing and being, what remnants is all about, the mission of removing barriers and helping women, discover their purpose and moving forward with it. I know that this is something that it can't just only affect me. And so thank you, Josiane. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you, Stefan, for joining me today. And so let's just, get right into it. I don't know. First of all, have any of you experienced what I was talking about, like making the moves and then all of a sudden something from your past tries to come in response, try and stop you? Am I the only one here?
No.
Can anybody like give me an example, or you need me to go ahead and become a little more transparent?
What I would say, I think anything that comes up from our past and tries to hinder us in our present and future decisions usually has to do with a certain level of fear that we haven't addressed. And I think that's what keeps popping back up. The same fear that you never dealt with before now is coming to try to prevent you from going forward again. And until you deal with that particular fear, it's going to continuously keep doing that. And then I guess you can put a particular name on it, depending on what that fear is. What, Nora?
Yeah, I think you may have a point there. I never really separated the two. Like because I know once upon a time fear was something that used to cripple me, right? And but at the same time, you saw how I just described like making moves and then past coming in. But I never really looked at it like my past being a fear, a form of fear. So that was actually a good one. I don't know. Anyone else want to chime in on that one?
Um,
Y'all feel free to jump in there, the conversation that we're having.
I mean, I guess for me, I think I relate it back to me. And it's sometimes we face different kinds of fears. And like if you're relating it to your past, it's that particular thing that you went through in your past. It's like if you feel like you're about to go through that same thing again, that fear creeps back in like, oh my God, I can't deal with this situation again. I've been through it before. I don't want it to take me to that same place
Work
again.
out before.
Yes. So that's what it is. And that's why thank you for these conversations. And thank you for the conversations that we even have personally, because we address the same things. And it's like, until we deal with this root of the fear, where it comes from, where it came from, you know, that we need to be moving forward. And then once you address that fear, and like we said, you put the light on the fear, it can't be used against you again. Because now you put the light on it and now you're really ready to deal with it. So that's what I would say. I think it stems from a certain place of fear.
That's definitely a thing. Stefan, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, along with that as well, one thing I see kind of like holding me back at times is present day actions, what I'm doing every day. So like just to be a little bit transparent is sometimes I don't do what I really want to do. And I'm like, okay, why am I not doing what I really want to do? And then I noticed that I would say yes to certain things, and that certain thing would occupy my time. Therefore, I can't do what I really want to do because my time is limited now. And that's because of my own like my own like characteristics, or like my yes all the time. So I'm learning how to change that pattern in order to move forward into the things that I want to do. Like, for instance, like if I want to start a business, well, I'm not gonna be able to start a business if I'm saying yes to everything else but the business, you know? So like kind of like now I have to like focus my time and separate and make some time for me in order to have a business plan or have some type of momentum in that field.
That's interesting what you did with your fear, you know, with handling your past. What you did is something that I believe a lot of people who are stuck don't do. And that is in a, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, you're basically facing your fear and you're analyzing it. You know, you're looking at it, and because like I was about to say JoJo, like Josie Ann said, you know, you have to when you realize it, you bring it to light, and that thing can't mess with you anymore. So that was going to be like my next question, like why is it that, because sometimes the past is painful, like for example relationship. If I'm going to be honest, I right I can't even dream of another relationship right now. Not because of, you know, some clear factors, but even beyond that, it's like, because of what has happened in the past so often, will I be able to trust? Will that person, you know, turn around and bite me again, you know, hurt my feelings again, you know? And this is something that, especially when it comes to relationship. Okay, we're talking, today's Valentine's Day, right? So a lot of people are stuck because of past relationships. And so it's like, how how do you get unstuck? Like in these real life situations, how do you get unstuck? One way, you know, thank God for Stefan's response, is to actually look at it. And then when you analyze it, you take the wisdom. I remember, right, Josiane? We don't believe in failure, right? We don't believe in failure. We believe in learning from our past mistakes and then applying that wisdom to the present and the future. Can anyone else like think of another situation, or think of a situation where you had to do something like that, like analyze and like really, how did you overcome when you were faced with those fears of your past?
I can definitely relate to that. I remember when with me getting married and having a new baby and owning a business.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But before I was a single mom with a business and just a little girl, and it was like simple with just one kid and me to manage in the business, and I had help with the one kid, a lot more help with one child. But then I noticed that once I got married and had a baby and still had to run my business, and I decided to go to school, I found myself realizing that wait, the same routine I had before, I'm not able to have now. I can't be at the salon 5 to 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts. I can't do that anymore. I can't just drop my daughter to my mom and go hang out with my girlfriends the way I used to. Like everything shifted for me, but I found myself being not realizing. Sometimes I think that we don't realize that fear is normal, and that when change comes in our lives, we have to sit down, like Stefan said, and analyze like the reality of our position. And I know for myself, I was battling with transitioning, and I would have to talk to my friends that would give you the right things to think about. And look at this. You're not doing this anymore. You're doing that now. So don't look at it as failure, because I realized I was struggling with my routine. I felt I wasn't performing at my best. But it was like, no, you're performing, but it's not the same anymore. So what was required of you then as a single mother with just a little girl and a business is way more required of you now as a mother, a wife, a business owner, a student, and so many other positions. So I think that a lot of times we don't really sit and think about, like, hey, what's the reality of my situation today versus then? Like, let me sit myself down and actually think about this. Like, God, what are you doing to me today? Clearly, when you have this friction with the past versus the present, it's like God is trying to grow you, and you're like resistant against his change and his growth that he has for you. And you, like, for me, I was like thinking, with that, how come what I was doing before is not working now? But it's like he needs, which was what worked then is not going to work now. He needs you to do 5 more things. He needs you to stop maybe 2 or 3 more things in order for you to go ahead. So yeah, I think from my perspective, transitioning from one place to the next was hard for me, and I definitely had to get over my fear. And I feel like also we don't realize that the fear will never go away. It's going to always be there, and we have to
Mhm.
learn how to manage and lean more on God and our friends, and learning how to keep ourselves around the right people to help encourage us through the process.
Hmm.
That's a good point.
That's so good.
Let me pick on you, Stefan,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
being that you're the first guy and everything that we're having on the show. And anything that I ask y'all, please feel free to tell me. Oh, I don't feel comfortable answering that.
I don't
Because
feel comfortable.
you feel. So
I
you
play.
kind of know what I'm about to ask you, Stefan.
Like, disclaimer.
Let me ask Stefan first of all. Are you in a relationship?
No, I'm not.
No. Is there a reason why you're not in a relationship right now, or have not entered
Yeah,
into one? Who's is that, me or okay?
I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason why I'm not in a relationship is because I found out that I'm perfect and that like everyone else, something's wrong with people. Like it's not me. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but like I think the reason why I'm not in a relationship is because um that's something that I can't force. So perhaps it's not the right timing for me. That's my conclusion. Because I tried to make it work in the past with different people, but for some reason it just didn't work out to that level where it can be a committed relationship and then towards marriage. But I just talked to different people in the past, but it's never gotten to the point where it worked. I think it's just maybe different values. my values sometimes don't line up with theirs, or vice versa, or they're in a different season than I am in. But I've never been the type um, to say I'm not dating nobody. I'm open to that. It's just it's not happening. I don't know. I don't know.
And your past, basic, like you don't find your past interfering with your decision. Is it me or is that me? Let me see
I'm not
something.
sure.
I'm not sure either.
Oh yeah, it's you. It's your from coming from you, Stefan. Because when I mute you, it stops.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, no, no. Probably need headphones. You have headphones or something?
Um, I do not. I tried to go on my laptop, but my laptop it requires
Yeah,
Firefox. You
that's
want me to
okay.
log out, and then come back on and download it? Would that be okay?
Okay, that's if you want to.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, ladies, while he's getting that together, it just so happens that we are going towards the direction of relationships, y'all. That is a biggie. I think even more than anything, because of the basic one of the basic human needs, which is to connect and to, relate to someone. I think that's a huge one. And I was having a conversation with someone today and about a thought that I was having last night, like, oh my God, like should I just like give up on the fact, give up on, should I say love, or should I give up on even maybe acquiring a special someone? Because and the reason why I was thinking that way was because of what has happened to me in my past. And it was just it was just crazy how I almost concluded with that. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But
Can I?
what if go ahead, because I will go ahead, jump right in whenever you're
Yeah.
finished.
You know what? Anytime I hear someone, and it whether it has to do with love or whether it has to do with any other thing in life, when someone puts like a full stop at the end of that sentence and go, I don't even think that's for me, or I'm never, I immediately go, no, 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 no. Never, ever, ever say that. You know what I mean? Because what I realized about our past, and we've talked about it before, our past, even, through the good, through the bad, it was really cultivating us for where we are right now. So though you went through those things in the past with relationships, with, different things that we go through in life, it was all building us up for the moment where you're actually going to be ready for that true love that you really will be receiving into your life. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, and
It's so funny. Uh-huh.
I'm hearing, it's like what I'm hearing is your past doesn't have to be your reality today.
No, it
You
does
know, it
not.
does. And the crazy thing is, and this is something I think this is the missing link or the key, to help people get to that point where they can move forward with their present and their future, is that it's a choice. It's crazy how almost everything boils down to you making a personal decision, right? Which requires faith, which requires a steadfastness. I don't know whatever you want to call it, to willpower, whatever you want to call it, to back up this choice. It does, at the end of the day, require you to decide, you know what? Yeah, maybe I did. Yeah, the truth, I mean, the truth is, I did go through what I went through in the past, but my new truth is that it doesn't have to repeat itself. Is that along?
Absolutely. Because deep down inside, you really don't want to not have a love. You really, you don't want to repeat the past, but you've learned so many lessons from the past. And what you're taking into your future, is going to be beautiful because you've been there, you've experienced it. And it's so funny, I didn't even know we were going to talk about love today. And I watched a video earlier, and he was separating love from relationship, those two words in the video I watched. I like to receive, not. And he said that relationships are managed, but love is what you cultivate within yourself, and that other person is cultivating within themselves. So we just end up sharing that love together, that field of love. But ultimately, once you get into a relationship, that doesn't mean you got to remember, you're still going to have those issues. Things will come up, but you have to learn to manage those situations. But because you came in with love, full of love for yourself, love for life, and that person comes in with the same thing, you can build that beautiful love together based on all the things you've learned from your past, because you can make the choice to. I love the word choice.
That's a good one, because even the love that you were talking about, the love, it's even a choice you have to make. That's even a choice. To love someone unconditionally actually requires you to say, you know what, this particular person right here, I am going to be committed to loving them. And will there be tests? Oh yeah. Like something has to have to tell us that what we're saying, we really mean it, right? That's where all the tests and all that come in, whether it be relationship, whether it be a business that we start. Because I remember, Tiffany, and maybe you could even speak on this too, if we're going to go towards the direction of businesses. I remember having conversations with Tiffany where her decision, like, I know Tiffany loves doing hair. I know she loves doing these things. I know she loves being a business owner. But there was a time when tests came her way, and Tiffany she was this close to closing her business down. Tiffany, what made you overcome that? What made you stay open? How long have you been open, first of all?
10 years.
10
Yeah,
years.
10 years.
10 years. And what caused you to stay open?
The grace of God. The grace of God. And me being afraid, and God always, I felt like every time I was about to close down, God always brought somebody to say something to me that I needed to hear, whether it was like a friend or a family member or another business owner that would help me understand that what I was going through was normal. Like, it's okay to want to close down every week. It's okay to, have these struggles. It's not just you. This is what business owners go through. So just having talks with people, you know what? I'm never afraid to ask a question. Like, if I see somebody that I'm interested in and I know them, I'm like, you know what? I've always, been inquisitive. Like, hey, how'd you do this? Or, I'm the one that will ask very intimate questions and to find out so I can learn. So that always helped me too. Like, never being afraid to, being afraid of the future and failing, but knowing that I need to understand that it's okay to ask questions. So that helped me out a lot too. Yeah.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
so all right, so far, everyone on here has a past. That's without a doubt. Like, your yesterday is a past. Like 30 minutes ago before you logged on is part of your past. We all have a past, and we all have a past that in one way or another challenges our present, and then ultimately our future, right? So with that being said, welcome back, Stefan. Everything good with the audio and stuff?
Everything's perfect now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to you, but this time I'm gonna leave you alone with the relationship and stuff. Maybe another conversation. But Stefan, you have started an organization called Sons and Daughters, right? And I started with the whole past and all that because I wanted to know, with this organization that you have started, what are some of the challenges that you have faced or is facing?
Okay. The challenges that we have faced was, I think with every new thing is, finding identity or finding what you actually do. So that was a journey for us because we were so like we love God, and then we were like in the schools, we were in the churches, we were in colleges, we were in high schools, we were like literally everywhere. So one of the main questions people ask is like, wait a minute, what are you guys like? What do you do? I'm like, we just do, So like, I think that was one of the struggles is pinpointing on that vision and executing. Um, and years went by, we've gotten better with that, and now that we are like a little bit more mature, one of the things that is kind of like a struggle is keeping the same level of intentionality, um and paying attention to detail, because sometimes as we grow in our business or even like nonprofits in organizations, we kind of think it's just going to happen. But one thing that we sometimes we struggle with is paying attention to the details. That's with me. I'm like, it's going to happen this way, and then not really intentional with every step of organization, of planning, and etc. So
Do you feel that any bit of your past um tends to threaten this new venture?
yes, I think one of the thing is not taking people's no's personally. I think. Wait, you said no? Oh no, we didn't say no. So I think that goes for like relationships too. Like if you're like I remember when I was in a relationship like years ago, like maybe like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when my fiance at the time wanted some space, I took that as, oh, she don't like me, and that's not the case. She just needed some space for herself. So now moving to like business and even organizations, it's like when someone says, no, they can't meet that deadline, or no, they can't be involved in that volunteer time. You're like, wait a minute, you don't like me? You don't like what we're doing here? So like, don't take it personal. So so I
You've
think
like
that yeah.
you've kind of what do I call it? You've kind of structured what's the word? You structured yourself, or you've kind of taught yourself not to basically take that personally.
Yeah.
No person. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, expect it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta really expect it. And that's interesting that you said that, because I was talking with someone, and I found out, oh, I had a conversation with someone. And so I noticed that while we were talking on the phone, um, she wasn't like fully engaged. And that's because maybe she was doing some, you know how when you're on the phone with someone, you're doing something else on the phone. So to make a long story short, I'm like, are you paying attention? I caught an attitude. I'm like, you're not listening to me. I don't feel you listen to me. And then as when I got off the phone and I sat down and I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, Nora, you getting upset at this person. It really has nothing to do with this person. And then that's when I found out that there was like unresolved rejection going on. And I wanted to bring that up because I think a lot of attitudes, or a lot of the ways that we see people act, right, really has nothing to do with us on the receiving end, but it has to do with some unresolved things from their past. Do you get what I'm saying? Like a lot of like with what I just said, the attitude that I had nothing to do with her, because on a normal basis, you know, that's not something that would get me upset. It even went as far as me saying to myself, you know what? Is she even my friend? Like, should I even, should I even continue being friends with her?
Wow.
And so that's something that I brought that up because I wanted to put out there one of the effects. And if anyone has any other thing to, chime in, please do so. Like, one of the effects of not resolving your past, right, is it shows up. It has a way of showing up and shaping your attitude, your character. You could be sitting here thinking, "Oh, that's me. Oh, that's just how I am." No, honey.
Right.
That is something that you need to deal with so that you can really be who you were created to be, right?
Yes, yes,
I think that has
absolutely.
a lot. Oh, I think that's a lot
Right.
to do with. Someone once told me I can relate to that, where you are allowing your internal struggles to determine how you treat people.
Mhm.
Somebody told me that before when I, being younger, and I was in a relationship, and I had a guy tell me that, like, you're allowing your internal struggles to determine how you treat me. And I'm like,
Mm,
I had never heard anybody say anything like that to me ever before. But we don't even realize that we have so much clutter in
mm,
our minds and our hearts from our past. Because we had, with our daily schedules, we have to just keep working and keep going, and we don't even sit down enough and analyze, like, okay, what am I doing? How am I interacting with people? Like, how Julianne was saying earlier about repetition, about things happening over and over again. Like, if you have a certain friend that you keep having conflict with, when, like you said, when you decide to make a decision to love somebody, you decide to say, I want this to work. So despite how hard this might be, I'm going to be accountable for my words and my actions, and try and let my internal struggles determine how I'm going to treat this person. I'm going to be more mindful with my words. I'm going to ask, like, hey, when I said this thing right here, how did I make you feel? Or, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to come off that way. I'm having a bad day. Or, just being accountable for ourselves helps make those
yes,
things better for each other. And a part of being accountable for ourselves is thinking about, like you said, our past. Like, what about
Right.
our past is allowing us to be this way with certain people, or allowing the enemy to come into our minds and have those thoughts like, oh, she's not my friend, or we're not friends. It's like, no, y'all are friends. You just got to learn how to interact with each other with love.
I
yeah.
like that. I
I,
like that. Go ahead,
mhm.
Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw Melanie, not Melanie, Marcia wrote, self checks needed daily. Because one thing that has changed my life is the aspect of self awareness. That
Mm-hmm.
right there changes every relationship you have, every way that you deal, anything that you deal with in life. And it's, you go back and you go, okay, how can I look at myself to deal with that situation?
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like, how do we do that?
Accountability. Be
Accountability.
accountable.
You have
Yes.
you have the answers within. That's what self-awareness will do, because you'll do your check. Because if you're, like we always say, if you're in touch with the spirit that lives within you, he will be talking to you, and he'll never be blaming anyone else. He will always
Wow.
make you do
Oh,
it,
yes.
right? He will always make you look within yourself. And I'm telling you, I remember having like this clear vision, and we were talking about the past, right? About how people, they always say, stop carrying your baggage. How people are carrying baggages. It's invincible, but it's heavy weights they're
Mm-hmm.
carrying. And I just had like this vision for women, like they need to let this stuff out. And like how you say, Nora, open your mouth. People need to start like expressing how they feel and really
Mm-hmm.
resolving some of these things, and start emptying this baggage and start walking with a light load,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
and know
that's
what
what I
else?
would say.
I'm sorry, to piggyback
Self-awareness
off
is
of that
very
too.
important. Yes.
Yes. I was gonna say, to add on to that, not normalizing, like, okay, we're all people of color. When it happens everywhere throughout the whole world with everybody, we have to stop normalizing dysfunction, because
Woo.
we all get so used to, oh, that's just them, or
Mm.
this is how I am, or no, everybody wants to tiptoe around that certain person, or you're afraid to just say, and it's not even about, saying it. It's about how we say it to somebody. And also, like, I know for myself, like, okay, when am I uncomfortable? When am I feeling anxious or anxiety around certain people? What's triggering me to be a certain way? So I feel like if we all have love, we have to be open to hear when somebody's sharing how you made them feel. And then that person we have to be receptive to each other, like understanding each other and caring about each other. It makes a great difference when you slow down and you're actually listening. Because a lot of times our friends and family are telling us what's wrong with us, but we just not listening. Like, Nora, how many times have we said, and it's like, you're not listening. No, you're not listening. You're not listening. You're not
But
listening.
you're not listening to me.
But what about me? But it's like, but how many times do you have to go through that? And then it's like, you know what? But I love her. So we going to have to just not listen right now. But I'm going to go sit in my corner. She going to sit in hers. And we just going to listen to the Holy Spirit tell us. And we heard, we know, you actually hear what the person is saying. But you're on defense mode. And that's not good. But then you got to ask yourself, why are you on defense? Why? What about this thing right here? This is what accountability part comes in, that the who, when, where, how, and why. Like, ask yourself these questions.
I'm hearing humility. I'm hearing I'm hearing that one of the ways we can get over our past is, first of all, right?
Wow.
Be humble. Humility will help you to receive, to receive those things that tell you about yourself. Like we stated that we've stated how our past can cause us to be dysfunctional. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Honey, the way you go off on people, that's not you. That's not normal. Boo, you see how you keep acting the way you acting? That's not you. That's not normal, right? But in order for the change to take place and for the release of the past, it will require, again, it goes back to that choice, right? A decision that we make, like, okay, first of all, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Your accountability, Tiffany mentioned you need an accountability partner. Your accountability partner will tell you, listen, the way you acting, you gotta check it. And then because you're committed to changing and leaving your past in the past, it will require you to decide, like, all right, I know what she says to me. It hurts, but the truth hurts, right? The truth definitely will hurt, because here it is, you're living a life operating in a way that you thought was who you were, and all, then someone comes and disrupts it, right? By telling you that actually, no, that's not you. Go ahead, Stefan, you want to say something?
No, I was just saying, I was agreeing.
And it really requires humility. So if you want to ask how do you let go of your past, first of all, be committed that this is something that you want to do. And two, get an accountability partner, get some, or should I say, open your ears more, because God will put people around you, okay? Especially if this is God's work, his first, no, not if, God's mission. And again, you hear me, you hear my guests, you hear, we talk about God because that's just who we are. This is not a platform where we want to sell Jesus. You know, Jesus is, it's our lifestyle. It's who we are, right? So God will bring people around you because it is his mission, you know, to tell you, to shape you back. He wants to take you back to who you were originally. So he's going to bring people around you. He's definitely going. But even if you think you don't have, how about this? How about this? Because how about a lot of people don't know that their past is actually messing up with their present. Some people don't know. Wow. So I think my advice would be, first of all, everybody who's listening, everyone who will listen to this recording, let's work on humility. Let's work on humility and work on, I think the challenge till next week, open your ears and hear what people are saying about you.
Yeah.
Because Remnants of Red is all about transforming lives. We're all about transforming lives. So realizing that some of these foxes are hidden, some of these things are hidden. They're not, you think that you getting angry all the time when, and this is something that happens to me. There's a certain human beings that when they come around me, oh my God, it does something to my spirit. And I get so upset and I'm on attack mode.
Like, oh boy.
He mentioned like God is like, oh, I get they are who they are, but what's more important to me is your response. You know what I mean? That, and who said it? Holy Spirit. He always do that. I'm thinking he's gonna come with, all right, this is how we're going to do these people who keep doing these things.
Never.
No,
Never. Never.
He's like, no, honey, how you respond. And the fun and the amazing thing is how you respond actually will change people.
Right.
Come on now, Minister Nora. Come on.
This is something, and I know this is why he looks at us first, because he got the inside secret, that actually we want him to change other people, whereas we were created to actually be the people to enforce change in other people. But that's only going to happen when we work on ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think,
did you want to say something, Stefan? I think he wanted to say something.
I did. Oh my goodness. But when you shared about like when certain people come around you, you get so like, oh, like that happens to me. I mean, it used to happen to me a lot. And then just now I'm just thinking about it. And one thing that I'm realizing is sometimes the reason why I would be triggered in those relationships or those friendships is because I have an agenda with them. So it's like, if my agenda is to like fix them, then like I'm taking what the Holy Spirit is doing.
Wow.
So when they're around, I'm triggered because I want them to change. I see the same thing. That's
for me.
Huh?
Yeah. I said, and the change is usually for me, not even like
exactly. It's not even I mean, sometimes
can you repeat that again? The part about the agenda. I need to rewind that so I can hear it again, because I need to make sure that I get what you're saying, because I heard it, but I want to hear it again.
Yeah, this is good. This is so good.
Yeah,
Oh
please repeat the part about the agenda that you had for them. Like, emphasize on that part, because
like, you want me to give you an example? Just repeat the whole thing again.
Like, what are you saying when you say
she's saying, Stefan, it's so nice, you got to say it twice.
Okay.
And elaborate on it, because I'm like, okay,
all right, sweet
your
deal.
personal agenda for that person, that individual.
Yeah, so basically, like, if like certain people I come around with, even like, it's not just my agenda, but their agenda for me as well.
Okay.
So it's like vice versa, but usually it's my agenda on them, and then when I get together with them, like for instance, like if I'm around my mother, right, I will get triggered around my mother at times, because she would say some things that I'm like, oh my goodness, why? And then I'm realizing is like, my agenda for her is to not talk so much about this certain thing, and I'm like, that's not healthy for me to project that on her. I can't tell my mother stop talking, but I'm thinking about it, so when I'm around her I get triggered, right? So it's like, okay, now when I'm around her, I don't have the expectation of her like not talking about that issue that, oh, is my pants too high? Like, it's a style, Mom. It's my style. All right, you know how mothers are. But like, so now like I come when I'm hanging out with her or around her, I just let her be and then love her from that point. And then now I'm not being so triggered because I'm not like in a defense mode automatically.
Yeah. Oh my God, Stefan, you done like right. He dropped some you opened up the can of worms.
Yeah.
And what he said was just so beautiful, because once we realize we're not here to change anyone, we're here to change ourselves. And like you said, Nora, influence the change around us. It's called for us to be the light. Yeah. And then the light just attracts more light. That's what's going to happen. You start influencing those around you. So once again, it still comes back to self-reflection and self-awareness. I love that. I love that.
And the example from my mother was only an example. It was not like.
So you trying to keep so you don't get your butt beat? That's fine.
She's not on Facebook. She's not on Facebook.
But that's what it is. How did we get here, right? We went from our past to talking about influencing change. And that's because, our past. Why does it the title of the conversation is when our past does not stay in our past. And one of the things that from the conversation this evening is because there's some unresolved issues. Unresolved. We talked about fears. Josiane talked about fears. And so it's unresolved. There are some things that need to be checked. Why do we need to check them? Because those fears, those unchecked issues from our past, actually, without us even knowing, as a matter of fact, they're designed that way, so you don't know, right? They are affecting who we are today. And because it affects who we are, it affects the opportunities that come our way. It affects relationships that come our way. We talked about businesses. It affects our work ethic and whether or not our businesses have longevity. It affects our future, okay? When we have children, how about our past has a tendency to show up in our children, y'all? That's a whole nother topic. I am a living witness to that. Those of us who go on and have children, we have to also be aware that if we don't check our past and some of those things in our past, it will, because these children are our seeds and there it's almost, look at it as a piece of us being like, imagine being, so a piece of us being pulled away and separated in the form of a child, y'all. Only some, like, you can't even imagine what some of these children, some children out there, and so I find myself, because of the past, because like Josiane said, I'm realizing certain things of the past, because I let go of certain agendas, selfish agendas, I find I am now clear-minded enough to be able to teach my children certain things. Imagine if we are still yoked up, y'all, in the ugliness. How are we going to teach our children? What exactly are we going to teach our children? Because once children come in the picture, y'all, it's no longer about us. It's no longer about us. It's about doing whatever possible to make sure that whatever is in our past does not repeat itself in our children. Like some of in church, right? In Christianity, some they call it generational curses or generational things that show up. I find myself last week, I said it proudly, my t-shirt had generational curse breaker because I realized, right, there goes that revelation, that shedding light on stuff. I realized certain things, so now I'm praying. Now I'm, not only am I praying for myself, I'm praying with my children in mind. So that's just an example of how our past can affect even our future. And so some of the things, I'm rounding up now, y'all. I don't want to keep you, it's Valentine's, some of y'all got some booze you want to love on. And so in rounding up, right, some of the ways that we talked about, and y'all help me remind, some of the ways we talked about that we can help get over our past is, Tiffany talked about getting an accountability partner. or make your friends. You don't even have to say anything. You can decide that the people around you that love you and that tell you truth, you can actually make them an accountability partner without even saying anything. How? Because consciously, someone who mentioned intentionality. I think it was Katina who mentioned, hey Katina, she mentioned intentionality. Like, you have to now be intentional about this. And so in your mind, you're saying, all right, I'm going to be humble. We mentioned humble enough to receive, because your friends, if they love you, they're going to tell you about yourself. And if they don't, change your friends, y'all. They're not your friends. Okay. Friends are created. Sisters are created. Brothers are created to actually help you in this journey called life, right? So you're going to be humble. You're going to be intentional about being humble to hear. And once God knows that you've made up your mind, He, trust me, it's going to start flowing.
Yeah.
Revelation will start flowing. Get ready, like TDJ, get ready. Because the revelation out of nowhere will start flowing. And so because you're humble, you're going to say, all right, or she just said, she just told me that I'm always snapping. Even if you don't know what they're talking, because there's a practice that I do, and that is, even people that I have arguments with, what they don't know is that at night, I'll have a conversation with God. I'm like, did you hear what Tiffany said to me? She told me, like, here I go, like, Father, here she go telling me that this, and that. Is there any truth to that? What do you think? Is there any validity with what she said? And of course, because God's mission is to, again, make you who you were created originally, He's going to tell you, yeah, let's start working on that. Or He'll tell you, don't worry about it. Don't even be upset at her. That's your girl. That's your sister. You understand? So it's about being intentional. Like Marcia said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. So that's another thing that you need to settle in your mind, that this is not a quick fix, like she said, and it's not going to happen overnight. But I guarantee you, if your issue is your past creeping up into your present and your future, just doing that. And I pose the challenge. Take this week, and because some of these things you don't know that they're happening, you don't know that it's actually messing with who you are, just say, okay, I'm going to take this week. Let me just see what people are saying about me. Or do like I used to do. Find somebody you trust and go to them like, do you think I have an attitude? What about my responses to things? What do you think? Like Marcia A. Lewis is one of those people that, girl, what do you think about me? I remember one time I went to her, I was like, what do you think about me? Or based on what you may have heard about me. Not that I really care about what people say, but again, when it comes to fixing me, the checks and balances, I take what I hear and, I have a conversation with God. But I just, like, what do you think? Like,
wow.
Go ahead, Stefan.
No, I'm just saying, wow, this is good.
Yeah. So that's checks and balances is good. I encourage everyone to do that every now and then. Go to your friends, go to your loved ones. Like, what do you think about me? I just want to know, do you think this? Do you think that? And so you'll be surprised what you hear. So I don't know, in rounding up, Tiffany, Jojo, Stefan, do you have any other thing that you would like to add to tell every other remnant out there, who is dealing with letting go of their past? Any closing remarks?
I do want to say something. Going back to the Bible, with the story where, was it Lot and his daughters and his wife? They were saved, and God told them not to look back, right? Just keep running, keep going forward. Remember when Lot's wife looked back and she turned into salt? Like, every time I think about things that I project from my past onto my future, I always think about that story. You know, because imagine being turned into salt because you just look back real quick. You know, please keep in mind, us, our beautiful people, that you know how you always find yourself consistently going through something with somebody or an issue, and you're so upset. Remember that pain? Like, I feel like you know, soaking in that pain and remembering that pain, how you got to that pain, is like similar to being turned into salt. And like, it's like, I never want to feel that again. So, you know, how you laying in your bed at nighttime thinking about, dang, why did I say that? Or why, you know, why did that happen? Why was that said or done to me? I feel like when I think about the salt, I always think about the pain and me wanting to try my best. It doesn't always work, but, you know, trying our best to think about, okay, there's a reason why God put that into a story. Like, he literally just saved them, and he told them not to look back. And he was so harsh and strict with them that he turned her into salt. So I think, comparison to our lives, now I'm looking at all of this and hearing all of us. Just there's a punishment. There's a downfall to us looking from our past and projecting it on our future. Like, it might not be turning into salt, but it might be losing friends. It might be, you know, losing your mind. I've seen people lose their minds from holding on to their past.
Wow.
It might be all kinds of things, you know, substance abuse, all kinds of horrible things can happen to us when we're so focused on our past. Like, it's slowing us down. So, you know, I hope everybody remembers the story about Lot and his family and his wife being turned into salt. It's like, do you want to be turned into salt?
I have one thing to say about that. Be the salt, but don't be salty.
Wow.
That's so good. Like,
right, because the salt is good in the Bible.
Yes, don't be salty.
Wow. Like, be
In essence.
Can I just say one thing? I just want to close. I just want to say one small thing, just because I want people to just understand. Honor your past, though. Honor your past and honor your present, and then you'll honor your future. It's okay. It's called the sum of everything, not the sum of one thing. So they say love who you were and love who you are, and it's okay. But as long as you do some self-reflecting, you can move on from your past, like Tiffany was saying. So yes, thank you, Nora, for having me today.
No, thank you so much. Thank you all so much for joining me. I was all nervous. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna have anybody to talk to. But thank you so much. It was literally last minute that every remnant that is on here came through. Thank you so much. Because I know I'm not the only one that, first of all, the topics are by inspiration. You know, they are topics that maybe I ponder on, you know, that I really, really want to know the answers to, or I'm having a conversation with someone. And it's all about, like Jojo said, it's all about being the light. So I thank you so much for joining me, because I know it's not just me. And I know that everyone, you know, even though even though the experiences may be the same, I just know that it's different. It's also different. You understand? Like women have the capability to have children, but every child that come out is different. You know, so that's how I look at the experiences, and that's why I want so many people to come on. And thank y'all. I said all of that because y'all are dynamic. Y'all came on last minute. And I know, as I was blessed by this conversation, I know that there are people that are watching that was blessed, and even those that will tune in after we're off that will be blessed. So thank you so much. I appreciate you all. And what I will say to everyone who watches this, please, in season one, I call it season one. Season one, it was all about loving on someone, right? Because it's a matter of life and death. But how about I have this strong urge now moving forward to get people to open their mouth, open your mouth. That is my signature. Open your mouth, because when you open your mouth, there's freedom. There's freedom, and it also helps to unlock someone else's freedom. There are people out there that are depending on you opening your mouth, telling your story, how you overcame, even if you are not, because there are things that I talk about that I plan on talking about that I haven't overcome yet. But I know that there's people out there that need to know that someone else is going through it with them. You know, they're not the only one. So open your mouth. Speak up for the voiceless, y'all. There are people that are depending on you again to open your mouth. So please, please, please do not be afraid to do so. Share this video. If you know someone is struggling with their past, please share share it. Share the video. And I know there will be freedom. So on that note, y'all, till next Sunday, remember, open your mouth, y'all. Bye.